Welcome to Date Safe in the Philippines. I'm Mia, and today I'm going to expose something that most Filipinas will never admit to. We test you. Yes, we test foreign men. And no, it's not because we're evil or manipulative. It's because we need to know if you're real. We need to know if you're serious. We need to know if you're safe. And honestly, we need to know if you're going to waste our time or break our hearts. Please subscribe first. I promise the advice I share here can save you from heartbreak, scams, and so much stress. Don't wait until you're already in trouble. Here's the thing. Filipinas have been burned by foreigners so many times. We've heard all the promises. We've seen guys disappear after they got what they wanted. We've watched our friends and cousins get their hearts destroyed by men who said all the right things and then vanished like smoke. So yes, we test you. And most of you have no idea it's even happening. The tests are subtle. They're disguised as normal conversation. And by the time you realize you were being tested, you've already passed or failed. So let me pull back the curtain and show you what's really going on inside a Filipina's mind when she's getting to know you. Psychological test number 1, the money request test. This is the most common test, and it happens early. She might casually mention that her phone load is running out, or that her electricity bill is due tomorrow, or that she needs medicine for her sick grandmother. She's not necessarily lying. These things might be true, but she's watching your reaction very carefully. If you immediately offer to send money without her even asking directly, you just told her something important. You're easy, you're eager to please, and you can probably be manipulated. A Filipina looking for a real relationship actually wants you to hesitate. She wants you to ask questions. She wants you to show that you're not just throwing money around to impress her. The guys who pass this test are the ones who say something like, "That sounds tough. How are you planning to handle it?" They show concern without immediately opening their wallet. The guys who fail, they're already pulling up Gcash before she finishes her sentence. Psychological test number 2, the jealousy test. She'll mention another guy, maybe an ex-boyfriend, maybe a guy at work who keeps flirting with her, maybe a foreign guy who's been messaging her. She's not trying to make you angry, she's trying to see how you handle competition and insecurity. If you explode with jealousy, start interrogating her or demand that she block every mail on her phone. Congratulations. You just showed her that you're controlling and insecure. If you act like you don't care at all and say something cold like, "Whatever, do what you want," you just showed her that you're not emotionally invested. The guys who pass this test stay calm, show a little bit of protective instinct without being crazy, and maybe make a joke about it. Something like, "Well, tell him he has competition." Confident but not controlling. That's what she's looking for. Psychological test number 3, the disappearing act. This is the one most men fail, and it drives them absolutely crazy. You've been chatting every day. Things are going great. She seems really into you. And then suddenly, she goes quiet. No messages for a day, maybe 2 days, maybe even a week. Most guys panic. They send message after message. "Are you okay? Did I do something wrong? Hello? Why aren't you answering me?" Here's what she's actually doing. She's testing to see if you're desperate. She's testing to see if you'll respect her space. She's testing to see if you'll lose your mind the moment she's not available. The guys who fail this test flood her inbox with increasingly desperate messages. By the time she checks her phone, there are 47 unread messages from him, and she's already lost interest. The guys who pass, they send one message, maybe 2. Something simple like, "Hope you're having a good week, talk soon," and then they go live their life. When she comes back, and she will come back if she's interested, she'll respect you so much more because you didn't chase her like a lost puppy. Psychological test number 4, the family emergency test. This one is tricky because sometimes it's real and sometimes it's a test. She tells you that her mother is sick, her brother got into an accident, her father needs surgery. She's crying, she's stressed, and she's watching to see what you do. If you immediately ask, "How much do you need?" without asking any follow-up questions, you failed. If you get annoyed and say, "Why is there always an emergency in your family?" you also failed. The guys who pass this test show genuine empathy first. They ask questions, they listen, they offer emotional support before even thinking about financial support. That sounds really scary. How are you feeling? What did the doctor say? How can I help? Notice that last question. It's open-ended. You're not assuming she wants money. You're giving her the chance to tell you what she actually needs, which might just be someone to talk to. Psychological test number 5, the future talk test. At some point, she's going to ask you about the future. Where do you see this going? What are your plans? Do you ever think about getting married? She's not trying to pressure you into a proposal. She's trying to see if you're serious, or if you're just having fun. If you get uncomfortable and change the subject, she's going to assume you're not serious. If you make big promises you can't keep, like, I'll marry you next month and bring you to America, she's going to think you're either lying or crazy. The guys who pass this test are honest. They say something like, I really enjoy what we have. I want to see where this goes. I'm not ready to make big promises yet, but I'm taking this seriously. That's all she needs to hear. Honesty, intention, no fake promises, no running away from the conversation. Psychological test number 6, the late night test. She sends you a flirty message late at night. Maybe she asks what you're doing. Maybe she sends a cute selfie. Maybe she hints that she's feeling lonely. This is a test to see what kind of guy you are. If you immediately turn it sexual and start asking for photos or trying to have dirty talk, you just told her that you only see her as a source of entertainment. If you ignore the message completely and don't respond until the next day, she might think you're not interested. The guys who pass this test engage with her flirtation playfully, but don't push it too far. They're charming, but respectful. They make her smile without making her feel like she's being pressured into something she's not ready for. Remember, she's testing your self-control. She wants to know that you can handle temptation without losing your mind. Psychological test number 7, the bad day test. She texts you complaining about her day. Her boss was mean. Traffic was horrible. She's tired and frustrated. She just wants to vent. Here's where most guys mess up. They try to fix it. Well, why don't you just quit your job? You should take a different route to work. Maybe you need to sleep earlier. Sleep. Guys, she doesn't want you to fix her problems. She wants you to listen. She wants you to validate her feelings. She wants you to say, that sounds really frustrating. I'm sorry you had such a rough day. That's it. That's all you have to do. The guys who pass this test make her feel heard and understood. The guys who fail turn into problem-solving robots who completely miss the emotional point of the conversation. This test tells her whether you'll be a supportive partner or someone who dismisses her feelings. Psychological test number 8, the ex-girlfriend test. At some point, she's going to ask about your past relationships, and she's listening very carefully to how you talk about your exes. If you trash talk them and call them all crazy, she's going to wonder what you'll say about her someday. If you refuse to talk about it at all, she's going to think you're hiding something. The guys who pass this test are honest but respectful. They take some responsibility for their past relationships not working out. They don't blame everything on the women they dated. They show that they've learned something and grown from their experiences. Something like, we just wanted different things and I probably wasn't ready for something serious back then. I've learned a lot since then. That's mature. That's attractive. That shows emotional intelligence. Psychological test number 9, the sacrifice test. This is the big one, the final exam. At some point, she's going to need you to sacrifice something, your time, your comfort, your plans. Maybe she needs you to wake up at 3 a.m. to video call because of the time difference. Maybe she wants you to visit the province instead of staying in Manila where it's comfortable. Maybe she needs you to cancel a night out with friends because she's going through something difficult. She's testing to see if you'll prioritize her when it matters. If you always put your convenience first, she's going to assume that's how it will always be. If you can show her that you're willing to be inconvenienced for her, willing to adjust your life to make room for her, that's when she knows you're serious. The guys who pass this test show up. They make the effort. They prove through their actions, not just their words, that she matters to them. So, what happens if you fail these tests? Well, some Filipinas will give you a second chance. They'll test you again later to see if you've learned, but many won't. They'll slowly lose interest. The messages will become shorter, the energy will fade, and eventually, you'll be wondering what went wrong when the answer is that you failed the tests you didn't even know you were taking. And here's the thing I want you to understand: these tests aren't games, they're not tricks, they're survival skills. Filipinas have to protect themselves in a world where too many foreign men make promises they don't keep. So before you get frustrated about being tested, remember that she's just trying to protect her heart. The good news? Now that you know about these tests, you can actually pass them. Not by being fake or performing some act, but by being genuine. Be patient. Be honest. Be emotionally present. Show her through your actions that you're different from all the guys who came before you and disappointed her. What do you think? Have you experienced any of these tests? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your stories about tests you passed, tests you failed, and the lessons you learned along the way. If this video helped you see things more clearly, please hit the like button and subscribe. Share it with a friend who's dating a Filipina. He might not even realize he's being tested right now. My name is Mia. Stay safe out there. And as always, don't forget to hit the subscribe button for the good luck of the Philippines.